How's it going, guys? Okay, so this is just a little different video here. Not the usual of what I typically do, but I thought it was pretty cool nonetheless, and I just wanted to show you guys this. So these are my broken smartphones that I have, and why I choose to keep them. So this isn't everything. I do have a few more elsewhere in storage, wherever. I can't locate them right now, but this is the majority of them right here. So let's start with this guy here. All right, so this is a Huawei device. I got this when I was about, I think, 15 years old, years ago, right? So, um, I can't recall what device I had, um, prior to this. Just so you know, I've owned like over 30 devices in my life. I don't remember which device I had prior to this, but for my budget at the time, this was the best option to get. So I was like, fine, I'll roll with it. I did end up falling in love with the phone here, just just for the fact that the camera lens here, it could light up whenever you play music or make sounds. The camera ring, it was RGB, so that was pretty much it. And I love the phone because of that. I'd be having my earphones plugged in, and I'd place it on a table just to make sure all the girls could see that it lights up, and I'd be listening to my jam, and they'd be looking at good times. And I intend to restore this one day as soon as I can find the parts for it. Okay, so before I speak about this one here, let me just tell you the reason why I choose to keep these devices here. I do love phones, technology overall, phones, laptops, new innovations, whatnot, and I don't know, each device I have, or not each one, probably the majority of them, they do hold a special place in my heart. So I'll decide to keep them and try to get them fixed. And when I was younger and started repairing phones, my first phone I repaired was a Samsung Galaxy S4. Had tons of those growing up. My favorite phone ever. Um, yeah, it really got me engaged and started loving phones more and technology overall. So yeah, this is the next one. This is a Plum Mite Plus. I remember as in high school, I was saving for a device, and um, at the time, this in the US currency, it would probably be like 100 and little. Um, I saved every day from school. Some days I wouldn't eat lunch. I'd probably just drink a soda or whatever just to pass by, just so I could get this phone. And bear in mind, this it's a big phone. It felt huge at the time, and comparing it now to like this OnePlus 8 here, you can see this it's so small compared to the OnePlus 8, a modern phone. Um, I think it was like a 5-inch screen or 5 point whatever, but it wasn't the most powerful at the time either. And because I had a Samsung Galaxy S4 right before this, but that was one of my first S4s that got broken, and it was sad. So I needed a new phone. But yeah, it held up fine just then. When I was younger, for the games I wanted to play, like probably PSSPP emulator, Ski Safari, stuff like that. This one holds a uh, dearest place in my heart. Because just remembering how long it took me to save for this device here, when I finally got it, that great feeling, how it felt. Yeah, I'm definitely restoring this one day. This let's see if I can even find the parts for it, but I'm holding on to the fate that I can. All right, next up is. All right, I know you see these here in the bag. We'll get to that. But next up, we'll just talk about this one here. This is a Blue Studio 5X, I believe. So this one is kind of recent here. I've had it for like 2 years. Basically the story in this and why I decided to keep it is I met a friend here. We end up having the same name. He sells sweets on the road. He became a good friend. He'd keep me company at work sometimes. He'd stop by with chat, and he had this phone here. It works, but the issue is I believe it's a bad battery. It dies pretty much instantly. All right, so it goes from like 100 to like 30%, then dead in like the span of like 5 minutes or less. So yeah, I just held on to it because I said, I get it up and running here, and it's just a good memory. Cause I got it dirt cheap too. In US dollars, I got it for about $4 here. So yeah, what's the harm? So I'll get a battery for this one day. All right, next up is the Samsung Galaxy J3 Prime. And if you know anything about the J series devices back in the day, they walked so the A series could run. These phones were amazing. These phones were beast. And if you can get the flagship phone here, this is the best option here. And a lot of the times, people would opt for these ones just because of how affordable they are and how great they work as a device here overall. That they didn't really see the point in buying the flagship versions of whatever phone Samsung made at the time. So I'm keeping this one. Got this one from my girl, and I really loved the phone itself. How it felt. It felt snappy, even using it recently because I had restored this one, but the screen cracked. It still works, but it just has a cracked screen. I probably should have charged this one up so you guys could see. Oh yeah, and the power button is recessed. Just remember. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and restore the screen on the power button on this one day. Awesome phone. Alright, next up is the bagged phones. Alright, so this is something. Okay, let's start with this one here. This is a iPhone XR that I had bought from a guy here. It was in terrible condition here, and the honestly, the only reason I probably got this was because of curiosity. I just wanted to own a XR just to feel the software, just to see how it felt, play with it a little and whatnot. So there isn't a real reason why yeah, I'm definitely keeping this. Just I was just curious. That's all. I ended up getting a different XR sometime later here. I swapped out the screen and a few parts here, and that XR, it's eventually sold now. So I still have this here, and I'm thinking, I'm using the battery's still good here, and the Taptic engine. I'm not so sure about the camera because it looks pretty messed up. See if I can focus on that here. Not getting a good focus, but it's pretty messed up. But yeah, that's the reason I still have this. But this, well, what's left of it? The screen for this is somewhere else. Trust me, the phone is functioning. It's just in pieces. This is a LG G8X. And if you don't know, I love LG phones. I was a true LG enthusiast. I would defend LG to the core. I would go down for this brand. They were so innovative, and everything they made, well, almost everything. I'm really speaking about the flagships. They were just awesome devices here. I loved what they did, all the features. I love the ultra wide cameras on the LGs here, and yeah, it's a shame what happened to them. And it's just one of those things. But the battery, the motherboard, the charging port, all that, it's still in here. This device, I got it as a replacement for this device, which we're going to speak about in a bit here. And it was a little upgrade here. So, and yeah, how this device ended up in this condition, I got the back cracked. It wasn't as cracked as this, probably just because it was in the bag, but it was cracked. Uh, where was I? It was cracked, and yeah, basically I tried to flash it with a new software here, but the build was unstable and it caused it to basically boot loop here. I didn't come around to fixing it here. Screen, no idea where it is, but yeah, that is that. So now let's jump into the reason why I went to this one here. Because my device here I had prior, the LG V35, one of my favorite LG designs of all time. I had this device prior to the G8X here, and it It shattered. It still works. It can still power on. There's just no display here. Surprisingly, it still works and it's still. I can't really tell you about the full functionality because there's no display, but it still powers on. It still got the lights, a little, just a little beaming through. When you charge, plug it in, you can still hear the little charging sound. And I know the fingerprint still works because when I powered it on and boom, you could hear the sounds. So how this phone got destroyed, I pretty much threw it, and it hit the wall in my room, and yeah, this is it, and I need the upgrade from this. So, or well, even a new device. So that's where I got the G8X. Love this phone. Love the color here. Love what LG did with it. And for my favorite device right here, this is the I'd say this is the second LG device I got, second or the third, I can't recall. This is my favorite LG device of all time. This is the predecessor to this, the LG V35. This is the LG V30. All right, so this phone was so good. This phone was amazing. I love this phone. It came out around the same time as the S8 here, and I opted for this phone here, and I do not regret a second owning this phone here. It was so good. I love the ultra wide. I love the manual cameras on this here. I love the battery life. I love the power button and fingerprint sensor in one here, just like on this here, and a few other LG phones. Love the cameras. The only downside of this was really the front camera. That was ass. It was garbage, trash, nada, never. There's no way. I think it was a 5 megapixel. I think I even still remember. There's no way LG should have done that to this phone here. That was the only thing that held this phone back at that time, in my opinion. But yeah, it had decent speakers too as well. It had quick charge. Wow, I really love this phone here. This was my favorite LG phone here. And oh yeah, I didn't even speak on the reason why I'm gonna fix this one here. Because the motherboard, it still has a lot of my data that I like on this here. It's pretty much the same for this phone too as well here. Good memories from when I had this phone. This one too, a bunch of photos I took with this device here, these devices, so I'd like those back. Why not? And yeah, so I'm gonna get this one fixed here, probably before every other device right here, and probably this one too here. Why not? And also this one here, the plum. If I can find the part for it, which it needs is the screen, and I think it's, yeah, the buttons are gone here. I'm probably gonna have to get a whole new phone and just swap the motherboard on this. But yeah, these are some of the broken phones I have here. Those are some of the reasons why I kept them here. It's a little different video, but I hope you guys did enjoy. If you don't mind, you can leave a like and subscribe to help me grow my channel here. Also guys, there's no shame in keeping old devices here. I'm not a hoarder. I don't hoard, garbage or random stuff here. But each of these devices kind of held a special place in my heart. Especially these ones. I say these three here the most. This one too. Yeah, these four the most. So yeah, that's the entire reason I kept them here. I hope to get them restored here. I do like fixing phones too, sometimes. So I welcome the challenge on them. Oh, I almost forgot. There's one more device here. Completely forgot about it. Let me go get that real quick. Here it is. Shattered, yes. Obliterated, yes. It is. This is a Fire 7 9th Gen. Not a phone, yes, but it's pretty special to me. Like, pretty much every one of my phones I've owned have been special to me because I just love them. But this one here, it still functions just fine. The screen is shattered, and this is how I got it. And here's the story of that. So, I was pretty much just walking to go ahead and collect some goods, and I just saw it. I was in the field, dirty, jagged. I saw the back. I was like, ain't that a tablet? I was like, yeah. So whenever I went to look at it, boom, here it was. Brought it home, powered it on. It was working just fine. screen is shattered here. Um, so it does affect the touch in certain areas here, but for the most part it touches just fine here. And that's the story of how I got this here. Um, not really stoked to fix this one here, but I will, because it's pretty much just the screen that's the only issue here. I'm not sure how the battery's still holding up here, but I powered this one back on a few months ago and it still worked. So it's just the screens, and it's pretty cheap online, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that restored here. And yeah, just add it to my collection of stuff that I restored once I start that. So that is that. I have a bunch more devices, but as I said, they're in storage somewhere here, and so many more I would want to show you guys here. But yeah, that's it for now. I do hope you guys enjoyed this type of video here, and with that being said, have a good one. Peace.